Welcome to Helping Hands with your hosts, John Neiman and Judy Ritchie.
Hello, and welcome to Helping Hands. This is our opportunity to let you and the community know how you can lend a helping hand to a program or an agency in need. I'm Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels.
And I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center, and welcome to our September edition of Helping Hands. As you can see by our set design, fall is in the air. I love fall. I love the smell of the leaves and apple cider and all that good stuff. We just say to ourselves, where did summer go?
Halloween comes up and there's candy for you again.
Oh, there we go again. Yeah, I have to get my fix after the 4th of July parade. Where can you see us? You can see us on CATV2, also on Charter 984. You can listen to us on the radio 101.9 FM. I encourage everyone in our audience to go to the OCM Oshkosh Community Media website, not only to see our program, but to see all the other wonderful programs that are there. A chance to thank our sponsors also. This actually is our 12th year on the air, and we're still together.
Yes, we
are. You
are.
know, Miranda and Blake may have divorced recently, but we are still together after 12 years. And one reason we're here is Aurora Healthcare, who is our monetary sponsor to put this show on the air, and then also Harnick's Floral on 9th Street is our set design. So we're excited to be here for this, our September edition of Helping Hands.
And we have a guest today who's been involved in the community just a couple of years, perhaps not quite as long as our previous month's guest, but Samantha Zinth is the second executive director of the Day by Day Warming Shelter. So she stepped into some pretty big shoes and has done, in her short time, a good job.
Thank
really
you.
has. So Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about what brought you to the warming shelter to begin with, and what the
Absolutely.
purpose of the shelter is?
And you
Sure.
were talking beforehand about your experience. Do you want to
Yes.
share that with us? Because
Yes.
you're a youngster. You're a youngster. But your experience already in our community with the jobs you had really do play a part into what you're doing. And I also like the reason that you went away for a while, because
Yes.
family is important.
It is. So I'm Sam Zinth, and I'm privileged to be the new executive director of Day by Day Warming Shelter. I've been in my role a little over 6 months now, and I'm really enjoying the work. I'm no stranger to the Oshkosh community. My husband is a homegrown local boy, and we moved to the area about 10 years ago. I had the privilege of working at the Oshkosh Community Foundation for many years, in the UW Oshkosh and University of Wisconsin system for a few years, and I recently returned to my roots in the nonprofit sector, leading this really great organization and being a steward of our work in the greater Oshkosh area. I am really privileged to help shepherd our mission forward, and our mission is to provide temporary overnight shelter, to evaluate guest needs, to offer guidance toward independence, and to advocate for collaborative, locally driven solutions to reduce homelessness. So we're that micro level view, that direct service to people most in need, but also that macro level view, in that we're trying to move the needle on homelessness in our community. So it's a big job, and we have a really talented team at the shelter that's dedicated to making sure our guests' needs come first, and that we can provide a safe community for anyone who needs shelter.
So how long has the warming shelter been in existence then?
That's a great question. We are about to open our 5th season. So
That is amazing.
Yes, we're out of the startup phase. We've learned a lot of lessons in those first few years. What I can say with absolute certainty is we run an excellent, excellent shelter. My predecessor, I have to give her credit for the exceptional job she did in developing our policies and procedures and making sure that we were an organization that was well equipped to serve this population. The people that stay with us come with a lot of barriers. You're not homelessness doesn't happen overnight. It's something that people are often dealing with multiple barriers that are stacking upon stacking upon stacking. And so we have to sort of unpack those issues and make sure that our guests are being helped in the best way possible. And the shelter and the policies that we've created, the environment that we invite people to come into to receive assistance, is one that really emphasizes dignity, self-worth, and the ability to find stability in your life. So I really give her a lot of credit, and my ability to come in and lead this organization is due in large part because of the groundwork that was done by the former director, Angie McCarthy, and our board and the founders.
And one of the things, we talk the shelter, but where is the shelter located?
Yes, thank you. We are currently located in the Most Blessed Sacrament Parish on High Avenue. So we're right near the corner of High and Jackson Street. Right downtown, we're on the bus line, so there's easy access for our guests who might lack transportation options. And we've been there since we opened. We're very fortunate to have the partnership with the church in allowing us that space.
Right.
And for our people, because I deal with this at Aurora, it used to be called St. Peter's.
That's what I was after.
Because I get that too when being the
We grew
chaplain
up
at
with it.
Aurora.
We grew up
And when the
with it.
church is consolidated with their name, I will still have members who will come in and say St. Vincent, Sacred Heart, and they will not say the name. So for those other people, it's St. Peter's, otherwise Most Blessed Sacrament, and they have been good.
Yes.
It is a wonderful spot to be, but what you guys have done inside the place, I think what you said is treating people with dignity, and you guys really do a good job there. We've been involved with either making donations or with other volunteers there, and it really is, it's not a scary place,
No,
which I think a lot of people think of when they think of homeless shelters.
You know, there's a real misconception, I think, about the people who we serve. Someone is not bad or dangerous because they're homeless. They simply have had life circumstances or barriers that have contributed to their inability to secure permanent or stable housing. So people are dealing with some pretty significant traumas in their lives, whether it's addiction, domestic abuse, certainly job loss or loss of a family member or a loved one. A lot of people that come to us just don't have a support network. They don't have a family member that they can live with. They don't have a lot of those supports that many of us take for granted. We were talking about family before, and I think many of us can't understand what that must be like to have no one to call. And our guests really, truly don't have anyone to call. They've either burnt those bridges or they simply do not have those supports in their lives. So a lot of what we do is try and give them that stability to allow them to repair those relationships, to gain the skills that they need to get back on their feet. But they can't do that unless they feel safe and secure and appreciated as if they're people of value, which they are. So our mission is really rooted in dignity, in making sure that people feel that they have a comfortable and warm and a place to go that they're going to be cared for.
Well, and one of the things that I've noticed, there are a couple of the fellas that have been at the shelter, and they will be out during the day and around in the community. And because of what they watch on TV or things that they've said, or, you know, I've been in and out of there a few times for our service club or different things, and they'll recognize me and they'll see me on the street, you know, like I've stopped at Hardee's or something. They'll see me and it's always, hello ma'am, have a good day ma'am.
Yes.
There's manners there that people don't expect of this population.
Yes, I think that's a really great way to articulate exactly who we serve. Is these are individuals who are really wonderful people. They've just fallen on hard times and they need the support of community to lift them up. And I think it's really humbling to see all the people who come into the shelter, yourself and your service club included, to give back, and that really means a lot to these guests. Whether it's the home cooked meal, whether it's the person who's staying overnight to help with laundry, the person checking them in when they get there in the evening, that smiling face, that warm hello, that's really what we're all about. We're also trying very intently to connect our guests with those meaningful services that are going to allow them to get back on their feet. We are actually adding a new position this year. It was funded by the United Way and our Community Development Block Grant Program in Oshkosh, and it's going to be a resource coordinator position. So this person's job will be to meet with our guests one-on-one, identify what are those barriers to allowing you to either repair those relationships, to get back home, or to secure permanent housing. Maybe they need job skills, maybe they need to work on addiction issues. Whatever that is in their lives, this person, our new hire, will be responsible for systematically looking at each guest and meeting them where they're at to help them develop a proactive plan towards self-sufficiency. So we're really excited about that expansion of services in the context of making sure that people are able to get back on their feet.
And you know, what you said, it's not like people have the wrong idea sometimes about being homeless. I can see this at work where, as the chaplain, people will come to me and say, my husband just lost his job. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how we're going to make, and it snowballs. You know, losing the job and then losing the benefits, and pretty soon they are homeless and looking for things to do. So our stereotype of what a homeless person is not accurate as you said.
It's absolutely correct. We had a guest this past year who had, by all intents and purposes, been doing everything right. He had about $10,000 in the bank, was working a construction job that paid a really nice wage, $20 an hour, I think it was. He ended up coming home one day and his girlfriend had cleaned out their bank account, taken their cars, and he had nothing. No reserves in the bank, no resources at his disposal. Luckily, he had an apartment at that point, but ended up about a couple of months later spiraling into a bit of a depression, got hooked on pills, lost his job because of his performance at work. And so this gentleman who a couple months before had been doing everything right, life circumstances sort of built up and he was unable to secure his apartment anymore. He ended up without a job, without a place to live, and came to our shelter. He had to be ready to do the work, but he was able to connect with addiction resources to get his job prospects back in shape, to get some medical treatment that was needed for him to get back to work. And he moved out of the shelter at the end of last season with a job that paid $28 an hour in an apartment. So people are capable of it, but they need that safety net, that place to land, and some people to say, we care about you and we want to help connect you with resources. Now, that's just one gentleman's story.
Right.
We also have people who've been with us all 5 seasons. So we do see chronic homelessness in Oshkosh, and that's a much bigger and broader problem.
But you've become the home for them.
Yes.
And it's a start. You're
It's a
taking the
start.
steps to do it.
And if we can't give them a safe place to go, then we can't ever connect them with the resources that they
Right.
might need. So we consider some easy wins and some more complicated wins, but we're there for every single person who needs us.
Now, before our time goes out, thank you, crew. They read minds now. We've been on so long. We've been on so long. They're just reading my mind. I wanted to go through the slides quick
Sure.
before our time runs out. If you want to talk about the slides that are up there, or
Absolutely. So our tagline, or the simple dial down of our mission, is that we're giving help and hope day by day. And that really speaks to the need for us to treat every single person who comes into the shelter. We want to treat them with dignity, we want to treat them with respect, and we want to connect them with those things that's going to help them elevate their situation and get on the path to self-sufficiency. Day by Day Warming Shelter relies greatly on donations from the community. Cash donations are the most beneficial because it allows us to fluidly respond to needs.
Right.
But there's a couple other items up there that we are always in need of. I'd like to point out the instant hot chocolate packets. Those are a guest favorite. It's one of the things that they love the most in the evenings when
Are they
check
really?
in. They
Now,
are.
we are doing
Yes.
I didn't tell Judy yet, but we're doing a Make a Difference Day event at Aurora, as we've done in the past in October. And 2 years ago, we took styrofoam cups and decorated them like snowmen.
Oh.
And we put
And
hot
put the hot
chocolate in
chocolate
them,
in.
and we donated them to
Thank
the
you.
shelter.
Thank
So to
you.
see that on there. Now, I'm sorry that I talked about it. You can put the slide back up with the other needs. But to know that that's something needed, because sometimes people will give stuff and you don't know, but to know that's needed.
It is. So those items, the food prep gloves, the non-latex gloves, cleaning gloves, any cleaning and laundry supplies, paper towels, hand and foot warmers are also always needed, so we can send them out the day with those little packages that can help keep them warm if they have to be outside for extended periods of time. Those are some of the things that we go through the most. We have a great base of volunteers. Last year we had 220 people donate 1,050 hours to the shelter. So we very much rely on the support of our volunteers. So there are hospitality volunteers, which help check in our guests, do laundry, make sure people are feeling comfortable. They help get chores done in the morning. We also do meal volunteers, and those are exceptionally important individuals. If we had to pay to feed those 25 people, it'd be a really large cost. So having people donate meals every single night of the week for the 28 weeks that we're open is an amazing, amazing resource.
There's a lot of individuals, there's a lot of church groups. Service groups that are involved, and
Absolutely.
some wanting to do it multiple times,
Yes.
and there's no more spots to sign up.
Yes, we're very fortunate in the engagement.
And one of the things, like with Altrusa, we do an event at the beginning of November that includes a bake sale. And so at the end of the day, rather than marking things down or just giving it away, we just box it up and bring it over for your folks.
Thank you.
And they always, what have you got in there? Oh, I really like this. Or have you got that? And it's fun to watch them.
Oh, I appreciate that. And if anyone's interested in volunteering or hearing about our available volunteer opportunities, they can call the shelter or they can email us at volunteer@warmingshelter.com, and we'll connect you with some of the available slots that we might have.
Now, there are 2 numbers on the screen right now. So if they want to volunteer or donate, would they call the administration?
Yes, that would be the ideal number, and you'll reach
Okay.
our volunteer coordinator at that line. If you happen to reach the shelter, they will get a message to us, but that
Okay.
203-4536 is the best line for us to directly connect you with our volunteer coordinator.
And I know you had the list of items to donate, but let's talk about the food. Food is so
Oh,
important.
yes.
And I know a couple church groups that come and they do the meals, and their meals are gourmet meals.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And so you're not getting the same meal all of the time. So you encourage groups to come in and do. So what are they responsible for doing? Say my
Yes.
church group wants to come in. What do they do?
So in our current spot, we're not licensed as a commercial kitchen, so we can't cook on site. So you
Okay.
have to bring the food either fully cooked or able to be reheated.
That's important. Okay.
That's important to know. But guests, we have people bringing taco bar, lasagnas. We had somebody do a hot dog kind of cookout type meal a couple of weeks ago. So it's really up to the group on what they want to serve. I will say our guests just love a home cooked meal. Occasionally we'll have a meal volunteer have to cancel for whatever reason, and we'll order pizza or subs, and the guests are just noticeably saddened. They want that personal contact. They
Yes.
want that home cooked meal, and they want to know that people care enough about them to cook for them.
So if we donate the meal now, do they usually stay and serve the meal
Yes.
then? Okay.
Yes. So if you're a meal volunteer, you report at 5:30 with your food either almost heated or can very quickly be reheated. And serving starts right at 6 p.m. So guests come in, they come downstairs, they get their bed set up and grab a tray and come sit and eat. So your total commitment as a meal volunteer is 2 to 3 hours, not including your cook time. So you'll show up at 5:30 and you're typically done by about 7:30.
And then they cook for 25 or 25 plus staff?
Yes, we ask that you cook for about 30 people, and we will keep any leftovers, but you do all the dishes before you leave. So it's a huge help to us to make sure that we're able to more adequately reserve our staff time for that direct client work. Because if our staff had to be cooking and washing dishes and doing all those things, it would divert our attention from really helping our guests. So we really rely on the
And
volunteers.
you're using regular dishes, not the paper plates and things.
Yes, we have dishes on site, so you don't have to bring dishes as a volunteer. You just wash up and wash out all the dishes before you go.
So this is a challenge then, because it is the month of September,
It is.
and this opens in October.
Yes.
A challenge to school groups, Rotary groups, youth groups, to pick a night. So this is October through May. April.
October 15th through April 15th.
So they can choose any night.
Yes. Our calendar fills quickly, so if you're
So?
interested, please call us and we'll let you know what we have available.
Okay.
People volunteer once a week, once a month, once a season. It's really up to you. We work with each group to sort of develop a solution that works for them.
So if they're interested, they can call administration at 203-4536. We also thank our wonderful crew here who are putting the slides through, so you kind of can get a feel of what, and I like the name, what the Day by Day Warming Shelter is all about. It's a place where people can go not only to feel the physical warmth, but the spiritual and emotional warmth
Yes.
that everyone gives.
Well,
to
and I
their
think
client.
it's really important to recognize that we want our guests to be part of that community. So you saw them doing chores up there on the screen. It's very important that they're contributing to our environment. It is their home too.
Right.
And just as we all do chores, they do chores too.
Well, and we're talking the overnights, but we have certain times during the year that you actually have them staying during the day also for
Yes.
safety reasons.
Yes, if the weather gets below 25 degrees, below zero with wind chill, we will keep our doors open all day. And that's simply a safety issue. We can't have them going out into the community if they don't have anywhere safe to go.
And the
with the-
blizzard conditions
Yes,
also.
or blizzard conditions.
And with the wacky Wisconsin weather that we've already had this year with the flooding and the 98 degrees and humidity, who knows what winter.
It's anybody's guess.
Well, winter
We'll
is
see what the
going
Farmer's
to-
Almanac thinks.
Yeah, exactly. Anything, we're winding down, or anything you want to put out there for us?
Sure. A couple of dates to keep in mind. October 24th will be the Downtown Oshkosh Chili Cook-Off, and the proceeds of that cook-off benefit Day by Day Warming Shelter. So come buy a ticket, enjoy some chili, and know that your full belly is benefiting our services. Also, February 13th is a Saturday, and that will be our Heart of Winter celebration. It's going to be a beautiful day of a community winter carnival, and we're really, really excited to present some new features this year that we're currently developing and finalizing. But it's ice carving, dog mushing, snowman building, a really fun community event, and those proceeds also benefit Day by Day.
And those are down at Opera House Square.
We are currently entertaining a location shift, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Maybe I can come back and talk about
Yes,
that.
and let us know, and we'll talk about it, because that's all important. support and to plan ahead. I can tell there's one thing that we can always tell about our guests too, the passion that they have. We can see the passion in your eyes and in your smile when you talk about this, and also being committed to Oshkosh. And so we appreciate that. We appreciate the work that you do and you've already done, and we welcome you aboard.
Thank you.
We're so glad that you could be our guest today.
Thank you for having
on
me.
Helping Hands.
Well, it's really fun to work with you and with your group because they appreciate what we do.
Yes.
And I think we appreciate seeing the efforts, being what we've done, really truly making a difference.
It really does. And thank you for the opportunity to be here because we couldn't do our work without letting the community know what we do and why it's important. So we really do appreciate it. And we hope to see your guests at the shelter.
And we'll be seeing you with our little crafts that we do at Make a
Yes.
Difference Day in October too. So thank you very much. That ends our first segment of Helping Hands for the month of September. Stay tuned. We'll be back for our second segment of our Helping Hands show.
If you have expired or unused medication, don't flush it, pour it down the drain, or toss it in the trash. Safely dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box located inside the Oshkosh Police Department. It's convenient and anonymous, safe and secure, and it's open to everyone 24/7. Drop off your prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, pet meds, and more. Keep drugs out of the reach of children and out of our water supply. Dispose of unwanted or expired medications at the drug drop box. For more information, visit the Oshkosh Police Department website at oshkoshpd.com.
Wisconsin is losing our World War II veterans. If you were a World War II veteran, or you know one who hasn't gone on an honor flight to D.C., please help us. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is partnering with all Wisconsin honor flight hubs to make sure every eligible vet remaining who served their country so selflessly gets the chance to go. It's time for them to see their memorial. It's time for their flight. To learn more or to make a donation, go to wisconsinhonorflight.org.
Hi, welcome back to our second segment of our September edition of Helping Hands. This is a wonderful show in which we try to highlight and promote volunteer agencies, volunteer opportunities in our wonderful community. There's always so much going on, so if you would like to be a guest on our show and talk about something that's going on at your church, we invite any not-for-profit to contact us, whether you're a church, whether you're a civic organization. We're always glad to promote you and promote the opportunities that you have in our wonderful Oshkosh Event City.
And I'm Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels. And obviously, as we're getting ready for the fall and winter season, we start thinking not only the back to school, and we've just had the warming shelter, but then we start looking towards the holidays. Make a Difference Day in October, and Thanksgiving in November, and Christmas and New Year's, December, early January. And how many people are either looking for something to do because they don't have their family nearby, or those that may be alone and maybe needing some support or a friendly visitor or something. There's a lot of opportunities out there.
And I do want to say, we talked about events. You forgot to mention one big event that we do at Aurora. And that's
We do our annual sale,
our
which
annual
is
holiday sale.
which is the Sunday and Monday after Thanksgiving. And the vendors all pay a fee or donation to come in, and that money is funneled right back into things for the Aurora patients and caregivers. And then it gives you a wonderful opportunity to buy one-of-a-kind items to use as gifts or for yourself.
And the advantages that we've had over the years is there's no admission fee to come in.
There's no admission fee to come in. We do it Sunday afternoon. We start at 6 a.m. on Monday.
Did you hear that, people?
6 a.m.
And that
I am out of bed before breakfast.
And that is, we originally did it to help our caregivers who are working third shifts so they would have a chance to shop, but we also get the early birds who like to be there. And another big advantage that we have at Aurora's annual holiday craft fair is the one central checkout. You don't have to write separate checks or separate debit card charges to each vendor. There's one checkout, so that really does ease in the shopping.
And we have no party plans, no manufactured items. Everything is original. And so, and the folks are local.
Local, which we're always promoting.
Within the Aurora family extension.
Did you have that planned?
Whoa.
Okay.
Is that this year's dates? Yes, I think it is.
Yes, I have to buy the entire crew lunch or something because there it is. Thank you very much. It's our annual holiday craft sale. It's a wonderful chance. We have it on your screen right now. Spread the word. It really is a great time. And as Judy said, part of the proceeds go back to the foundation to help with any patient-centered care projects. So thank you to the crew for that. I also wanted to mention another group that does a lot in our community, and that's Thrivent.
Yes.
They do a lot with volunteers. We had the privilege a little while ago that Thrivent had this little thing going on at Trinity called Art from the Heart, where they brought, it's really popular now.
Right.
You bring the artist in, and then the artist paints a picture, and then everybody does their interpretation of that picture. Well, Thrivent, under Kim Erskine and Susan Motz, had the event, and they donated the artwork to Aurora. So our caregivers and our patients and visitors could see that art. And so I really wanted to thank them for that. Get involved with Thrivent and the volunteer opportunities they have. It's a great way to give back and also do things in our community.
And Thrivent has been really good for the Meals on Wheels program. This past year, they did multiple projects that really benefited our recipients. They really had a blast. They did Thanksgiving, fall favors, Christmas, New Year's, winter. I mean, we had stuff that we could send out every week for several weeks. And our folks just absolutely loved it, and the Thrivent folks did too.
And that's one thing we've always stressed here. You don't have to go out with a big bang and try to do the biggest and the best. Sometimes it's the smallest things that make a difference, like the tray favors, the handmade, homemade cards. That's what people really love. The prayer shawls, the scarves. We talk about
the anti-bullying campaign with the scarves for the 5th graders.
So there's lots of different ways that you can give back in small ways that really get a big refund for you in the smile on people's faces.
Right, and you don't necessarily have to come and volunteer on site. You can, I mean, one of my ladies has been knitting the anti-bullying scarves. She's a recipient of the program, but she used to do a lot of knitting. And she would pick on me for certain things, and finally I just said, well, hey, why don't you consider doing this? And she loves it.
So if you want to know how to get involved in our community by any of those things that we have mentioned, contact myself, John Neiman at Aurora Medical Center.
Or Judy Ritchie at Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels. And my number is 651-3316. John's number is 456-7013.
We're always there to help you if you have a question about a not-for-profit, where you'd like to volunteer, what you'd like to share and donate. Give us a call. We're always glad to help. Also, a big shout out to Aurora Healthcare, who is our sponsor of the show. We're ending down our 12th season here, and we love doing what we do, which is promoting volunteering in Oshkosh. So thank you very much for joining us and being with us. I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center.
And Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels. Thank you. See you soon.